Alright, good morning guys. Today we're going to do a review for a trail camera. This is a company I had never heard of, Blaze Video. They contacted me and asked me to do a review, and they sent me this camera. And the reason I was interested, as anyone who watches the channel knows, I use the trail cameras mostly for video. So this does full 1080 HD, and that's what we want. And it also has 16 megapixels for pictures, which is should be pretty decent as well. It's IP66 waterproof and has a 2.4-inch screen. You guys know that I have 5 other trail cameras. So Blaze Video, you get a manual with it. Here is the camera itself. Doesn't look any different than my other cameras. Does have the, I like these latch system on the side here. I just find it's a little more secure. Okay, let's just turn it on and see what the menu system looks like. Oh, great. It does give you a warning if you're missing the memory card, which is good. Okay, so down here on the bottom we have a SD slot, USB, and a power slot. So I guess you could run this off of an external portable power source. So I very quickly have gone through the menus, and a couple of things that I noticed. One really nice thing is this has the password protection. So you can set up a 4-digit password on this camera, and that stops people from stealing it and using your camera, which I always liked. My Moultrie cameras had that feature as well. One thing I did notice was that you can only set a 30-second 30-second length for video. That's as high as it would shoot, as it would record. It also apparently will do both photo and video, because there was an option to do both, which only my Bushnell cameras will do. My Browning will not do both. So if you click on mode right there, you can do camera plus video, and I have it set up to take one photo and then do video. So what I'm hoping to get out of this camera, what I'm hoping it does, is close focus. That's one thing that the Browning is over 3 feet, and my Bushnells are closer to a foot. So if this thing is closer to a foot, that will be right up my alley, because we do a lot of little sets for weasels and fishers and small critters that come to bait piles, and that's what I'm hoping. The other thing is, I don't like the night vision on the Browning that I have. It's no-glow camera, which this is also a no-glow camera, so the animals and humans will not see the lights, which makes for a good security camera as well. But I find that on the Browning, the video at night just seems a little bit blurry, a little bit out of focus. And guys online have been telling me that's because it's the infrared technology that's used in the camera. And the other cameras I have, which are low-glow, have a much crisper nighttime video. Let's get this thing out in the field, get some images and some video, and we'll be able to compare it to the other cameras. Just one more thing to mention. I opened the box, and this is the strap that it came with, and it's just got this chintzy plastic. That's no good for up here in the north. We have -20 in the winter, and that plastic, I have other straps downstairs. I'm going to swap that out right away. I don't like that. It just feels cheap. Now that's a strap. Solid metal. So there's the Blaze video camera set up. We're going to use a log, and we're just going to draw the animals down the log towards the camera. And we've got about 1.5 feet from the camera to that first piece of bread. And this should allow us to tell how close the camera is going to focus to animals. And right beside the Blaze camera, we'll do the same thing with the Browning, which is the no-glow 80-foot IR. And I know that the focus distance is a little further out on that camera, so I've just thrown a bunch of bread out in front. And we'll kind of be able to compare. They're right beside each other. And if you want to save yourself a half-mile trek back into the bush, guys, don't forget, turn your camera on before you leave. Okay, so there's the Blaze Video trail camera, guys. It did snow last night, and we've talked about this in other videos before, the other cameras. I'm going to show you, because this is part of the review, and I'm all about honesty. That is not a good thing, that when it snows,
The snow has built up all over the IR lights right there. So if I didn't come out today to clean this off, and it stays cold and that snow doesn't melt, my next night shots are going to be crap because all of my lights are covered. So that's a design flaw. And the other cameras, they have the same issue with over the lens. These guys need to build a lip over top to protect these. I mean, I guess I'm shooting in a cold climate here, so maybe I'm a special case, but I just wanted to point that out to you guys. That could be an issue. Alright guys, back in the field to check the trail cameras. I've got the Blaze video trail camera behind me. I moved it to where the Browning camera was. It was out for almost a week and I was getting no pictures on the Blaze camera. And so I moved it over here, and again I was still not getting any pictures at night. So this thing, I've had a very hard time getting it to work and take night pictures. Up to this point, it's been in the bush for almost 3 weeks, and I have one night photo, and there was no animal in the photo. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know why it's not firing. And out in front of it, I threw a full cooked ham on the bone, and the ham is gone. There are all kinds of tracks. And I should mention that there have been tracks in front of this camera. Animals have crossed in front of it, and no pictures or video. It didn't even start, so I'm not sure. I've changed the batteries. Each week I come out and change the batteries. I have not changed it in the Bushnell, which is running over there beside it, and it's still working. So trying to review this thing, and it's become a bit of a nightmare that it's just not working. I'm trying to do everything I can to show you video from it at night or pictures at night, and I can't get it to take pictures or video at night. It's not a setting. It's not the batteries. We have had a couple nights where it was minus 20 degrees Celsius, so I'm going to just take those out of the equation. But it was 0 degrees last night and the night before. And with this ham out here and all these tracks, all I can say is there better be some pictures on this camera. Okay, so I've just come back to the camera here because I was looking at, there are some images on here. I don't know if they're any nighttime images, but they all looked like they were covered in fog. And then I looked at the lights. Look at this. Just totally condensated. Guys, I'm trying to do a review and be good about it, but I gotta be honest. I'm having a hard time appreciating this camera right now. Alright guys, back in the house and ready to check out the Blaze video trail camera again. This is about the third week that I've had this out in the field. And I've got to tell you, I'm really disappointed. I have one nighttime photo from this camera in 3 weeks of use. As I mentioned, I threw a whole ham out there. There are tracks all over. I do have images here again behind me and video. All from the daytime, animals coming. I cannot get this camera to fire at night or to take a photo at night. I've tried 3 different sets of batteries in there. I don't know what's going on. Do we need a lithium battery? Will this thing only fire at night on a lithium battery? Anyway, the other cameras, the other 5 cameras are working in these conditions, taking photos on the same batteries. This thing here, the lens, had snow buildup on it and condensation buildup on it. And for the price, guys, I cannot recommend this camera based on what I'm seeing here. I tried to give this extra time thinking, well, maybe it's a setting, maybe it's batteries, maybe it's whatever. You know what? No one in their right mind is going to put this much energy into using a trail camera. I put a lot of energy into bait piles and setups, and when the camera is not firing and there are tracks there, the camera's not working. That's all I can say. It is not doing its job. Let's go over the video and photos that I did capture, and we'll talk about the good points of this camera. But as it stands right now, I cannot recommend Blaze Video Trail Camera.
Alright, let's start with the one image in 3 weeks that I did manage to capture at night. And as I mentioned, guys, there is no animal in this image. So that was back on November the 14th. And there were tracks all in front of here over the next week of leaving this camera out. It did not fire again, either video or photo, at night. So, and it's not a setting in the camera. I've checked everything. It is set to run for 24 hours. I can't explain why. The camera is of no value
if we can only get daytime video with it. So here, if we look in nice sunlight at the video, this is 1080 video. It is nowhere near the level of quality that the Browning and the Bushnell are putting out. It's quite grainy, even in full bright light here on the trees. It's more like a 720 video, let's be honest and call it what it is. This does not look like 1080p video. It's decent, and you can see the animals, but that is not 1080p video. Here's a clip with some movement in it. And you'll notice that the camera is actually shooting at 24 frames per second. So you get that very slow, jilty movement to animals. It should be shooting at least 30 frames per second to be, smooth, but they've opted to go with 24p. As well, you'll notice no sound, guys, on this camera. So you're going to get video only. And here are some videos that I was talking about from this morning where there's condensation all over those IR lights and the lens cover. And so this is what you're going to end up with, is video that looks like this. Here's an image here that we took in full sunlight. Alright, let's look at this 16 megapixel image from the camera. This is the amount of detail you're going to get. This is daytime, full bright light, and you can see there's no detail. So this is extrapolated as we would expect. Not a lot of great detail and quite a bit of CA. You can see these branches here are just blue, which that's the way it is on all trail cameras, so we're not going to knock it too bad. I will mention that for my taste, this information bar at the bottom is just too big and intrusive.
So the Blaze video camera is still out in the field. I'm still trying to get images with it, guys, but as of right now, I have to give it the no recommendation. I can't do that. I have to be honest. Even though it's $150 cheaper than the Browning or the Bushnell, you're just not getting the quality. So do you want to drop $100 on something that is not firing at nighttime? The lens condensates, the IR lights condensate, the image quality is not a true 1080. There's no sound. So if you are a budget-oriented trail cam person, maybe this would work for you, but you can get a lot better for a little bit more money, guys, and as it stands, I can't recommend this camera.